Let's kind of talk through where we were last week, right? Okay. So if you remember, the way we kind of spoke about it is this border over here, okay, at the beginning and as well at the end, shows that there are program work that happen even before you start the program, or rather you're authorized to begin the program, and even after you have authorized to close the program. Okay, so for lack of simplicity, I called it as pre-initiation phase over here. Okay, and rather for simplicity, caused it as pre-initiation phase over here, and over here I called it as sustainment phase. And I requested you guys to remember these words because this will help you kind of take it further. Okay, now I shared this particular table the last time, which is on the page 155, which talks about the entire cycle. This is the program life cycle or program management life cycle, wherein the keywords that I suggested were DDC. It's definition, delivery, and closure. Okay, within definition you have formulation, and then you have planning. Okay, so we spoke about these things in here. And did any of you get a chance to kind of go through this table, which we discussed last time? Anyone?
Yeah, I've gone through it once for formulation and planning.
Right. No, we'll take care of the rest. Don't worry. We'll take care of the rest. Okay. See, and you would have sensed it, right? When I started putting in the questions also, okay, I started putting those keywords in behind your conversations, right? So what I mentioned over here very simply was if you see the word planning, okay, coming anywhere, okay, mostly it will be towards the program planning subphase and not in the formulation. Okay. So thanks to whoever who could respond back on those questions. Okay. So in very simple terms, when you're looking at a formulation, it is primarily your infrastructure development, wherein we spoke about two things. Okay. Just for a memory refresh, we spoke about PMO and PMIS. PMO is Program Management Office or Project Management Office. They use it interchangeably, but that's still okay. Essentially, we are talking about program manager's own team to help him or her deliver the program. Simple as that. That is his own team. Okay. That is PMO. PMIS is nothing but a simple system, or rather, it might be integrated systems wherein you're collecting data as well as you're distributing data. Okay. So that's where we spoke about program infrastructure. The rest, all of it is purely around assessment. Okay. And obviously, we have two situations wherein you have estimations. One is for resource, and the other one is for finance. Okay. Wherein you're taking initial estimations. And with estimation, we also spoke about rough order of magnitude, ROM. Okay. Same concept that we had in project PMP certification. Okay. Ultimately, it's the same buildup that you're seeing over here. Okay. Now, let's talk a bit more around program planning. And then what I wanted to cover today was something around documents. Okay. So I'm going to touch base on the documents after this. Okay. So let's finish this phase and then we talk about the documents. Okay. So in program planning, simple as that, right? You remember in project management also you have a planning phase, right? Initiation planning, the second one, right? So in planning, what are you doing? You're basically creating plans. Okay, you're creating plans for everything over here. Okay. Now, few areas that I would like to bring your attention to. Okay, and let me try and see if I can use a highlighter. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me take a pen. Okay, perfect. So, few areas that I would like you to kind of look into is so you see this risk identification here. Is it visible to all? Risk identification. Now, normally in PMP, you would always think that everything is happening in the planning or the plan will tell you how to do it. But here, they are calling these elements separately: cost estimation, financial framework. I think we'll need to talk a lot about financial framework, which I'll reserve it for later. Okay, but when you see this entire part over here, right? Program management plan, like project management plan, is going to be an integrated plan. Okay, wherein all these sub plans that you have over here will kind of go into this one here. Okay, so just remember this. Now there are certain other domains also, right? The benefits management and so on, which we are going to touch base. But today I just want to kind of keep it limited to the life cycle. Okay, so for example, strategy. you will have some elements of strategy also kind of coming over here. Okay, but we'll kind of touch base on that separately, but let's keep it simple for now. Okay, so as you can see, all these ones that I have listed over here are nothing but plans. Remember, with risk management, you are doing additional risk identification. Okay. Now, any guesses? We are saying risk identification is done here also, and risk identification is done here also. Okay. What do you think? What do you think the differences would be? Because in the assessment also we are saying we have to do risk identification. In planning also we are saying do risk identification. So what do you think is the difference between them? Anyone?
So is it something like uh, it would be more kind of a tactical of a nature, and then the other would be like more strategic kind of thing? Anything which is impacting the overall strategy?
Okay, so let's expand that on a bit. That's a very good answer, but let's expand on a bit. Okay, see, normally when you see these assessments and estimations, right? Okay, these assessments and estimations are at a very high level. Okay, so again, I'm using certain keywords over here for your benefit. Okay, these assessments and estimations are at a very high level. Okay, because understand, right? When you're preparing a business case, you have to go with a rough order of magnitude or you have to go with a high level. Okay, you can't do a bottoms up, right? Because again, you're still in the phase wherein you're still assessing, okay, whether you want to proceed with the program or not. Okay, now all these assessments and estimations will feed back into the business case. Okay, which is where today we are also going to spend some time. Sorry, today we are also going to spend some time on this point over here. Okay, so understand these assessments and estimations feed back into the business case. Okay. Now these are at a very high level. And to your point, yes, these are more towards the strategic part of it. So let's talk about it, right? So program risk management, and here the risk assessment is happening. Whether is this program really aligned to the strategy of the business? Okay. Now there's a very beautiful example of Kodak. Okay. Now, Kodak, as we know what Kodak is, right? One point in time, they were the biggest name in cameras, but then they are no more existent today. Okay. All that they are doing is they're probably just kind of charging some royalty for the names, and that's about it. Okay. Now think about it, right? The reason, one of the key reasons for Kodak's failure was even if they did pick up the programs, probably they did not assess the risk of those programs aligning with their overall strategy. Okay, so that is something that they did not do. Now, had they done that probably they would have still been existing today. So the assessment that you see over here, all these, okay, if I have to simply tell you, these are high level assessments. These are trying to check whether the objective or the business case of this particular program is it still aligned to the organization's strategy. Okay, so think it from that perspective. Now, again, right, do you think in the formulation stage we'll be able to do a complete assessment? Any guesses? Would we be able to complete assessment? We don't even have a team. Okay, we are just getting inputs from the people. Okay, it might be just their high level estimations, high level assumptions, high level constraints. Everything that they're giving is extremely high level. But it's not that you cannot trust that high level, but it's just that it's sufficient enough to understand that whether we should start with this program or not. But it's not deep enough to really assess that when, or rather, really manage. I won't use the word assess because the moment you're coming to planning, you're now talking about how are you going to manage the program and not assess the program. Okay. So in the planning phase, what you're doing is you're taking those initial assessments, high level assessments, and then you're digging them deeper to see, okay, fine. I understand that there are five things. Now let's go deeper into those five things and also understand if there is anything more that we got messed up. Okay. So the depth of the information is going to be very different in formulation versus planning. Planning is you're actually getting in the roots of the things. Assessment is still high level. Okay. So to your point, Shrishaj, okay, the assessment is right. It's strategic, but I would just use the word strategic. I would say it's more towards strategic alignment. Okay. And when it comes down to program planning, okay, what you're doing is you're going deeper. You're still with the strategic alignment, right? Because the reason why you do a particular program is basically to deliver an organization strategy. So everything is strategy only. Okay. Now there is one question that gets used a lot in some of the testing over here, or I think some of the mock exams, wherein they say, okay, program management, is it tactical or is it strategic? They just use that particular term. So technically, what they are saying, trying to say is the entire program life cycle and so on. That's all strategic, but program planning goes into the tactical part of how to execute that particular program. Okay, that is the response for that particular question. Okay, but I would just suggest that while you know that, it's good for you to know that, but think about it that everything that we do over here is aligned to the strategy. The moment if we are not aligned to a strategy, the program will directly go into program closure. Okay, that's it. The moment it is confirmed, program's not aligned to the strategy, it will directly go to the closure. Okay, you'll have to, if depending on phase you are in, you'll have to complete certain activities, but understand that everything is aligned to the strategy. Okay, so don't think about this as, oh well, program planning is the tactical way. Yes, any plan has to go into detail. That tactical word over there is more towards the detail part of it. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Meho. You had a question.
Thanks, thanks. So, I mean, when we are doing these program level assessments, and
Hmm.
in case if it goes for a closure, then would it be something like will be? I'm sorry, I'm trying to frame my question rightly. But then at a program level, we would be trying to achieve a particular component of a strategy, say for improving the client experience or any such thing which affects the overall business become organization. Uh, but many times, not many times, in my personal experience, I've seen that if there is no ROI getting into that, then it possibly gets rejected. So when we do at a program level assessment, would that rejection would primarily align to the deliverable that we're trying to achieve, or would also be assessed on the financial benefit of it?
So
Because if
let's
I'm trying to improve a client experience, but I would associate a certain cost to that.
right, right. So let's talk about certain feasibilities. Okay. So again, okay. So one of the key things that you would see, and I'll just switch over here. So one of the key things that you have in business case is feasibilities. Okay. One of the key aspects that you said was financial feasibility, which is nothing but your ROI, your IRRs, your all of your
Hmm.
rates. Okay,
Right.
your payback period, everything. That is your financial feasibility. Okay. Now I'll answer this question by asking a question to you all. Okay. Is financial feasibility the only reason we should be doing a particular program? Let's answer that. Okay. Is financial feasibility the only reason we should be doing a program?
At a program level, I don't think so because there could be the output could be multi-phased.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to add that? Guys, this will
Mm,
come in as a question. That's the reason it's a good question. And I want to ensure that everyone understands it.
so at a
Okay.
program level, can something like brand building or
Brand
some
building. Let's call it expansion into new areas. Okay.
markets, yeah,
New
new
markets.
area, new
Guys, I'm
markets.
getting some background noise. Can someone just, if you're not talking, speak, go on mute, please. Okay.
So
Yes.
it can be about expansion into a new market or
Right.
making the product more sustainable in the market, like according to global sustainability norms which are coming in, basically the environmental norms and all those things. So
Environmental
them
norms.
can be an issue.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So
So
there can be other reasons also. No?
How many of us remember that we had environmental factors understanding in PMP? Do we remember a keyword called as PESTLE, PESTLE, or PESTEL, depending on how you really understand it? Do we
Uh,
remember that?
yes, yes, political, economic, and social, technological, and life was. I remember this much only.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. And that's the right thing to look at it, right? Okay. So I'll give another example, right? So let's say you're a bank. Okay. And banking, you know that there are a lot of regulations that get passed out. Do you think that A regulator has told bank you have to do XYZ thing, okay, and the bank implements a program. Do you think the bank will go back to the regulator saying, sorry, we have other programs which are giving better return of interest to us? Okay, return of investment, sorry. Better return of investment to us. This one we will not do because it's not giving us a high ROI. Do you think banks can do that? Go back to the regulator saying, no, 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 no. We're going to do 5 other programs. We are not going to listen to you. Do you think that's sensible? And do you think banks can really do that? Anyone?
Once regulator have said, then that has to be done.
That's about it. So, to the question that we had earlier, right? And this is where the documents will start coming in. The business case, okay? The business case, as you can see over here, okay? The business case will have all of your feasibility analysis done, okay? And the reason I mentioned PESTEL to you, because that's also one of the key factors that you would analyze in your program, okay? Because you will have to look in through external factors, okay? Now, I understand uh, the word PESTEL is more towards external, but think about it, right? You're also going to do a certain, like economics is basically your finance, your return of investments, and so on. And sometimes it might be the company culture also, okay? So all these things will come into play. So it's not necessarily that ROI is the only determination whether we should go ahead with the program or not. Okay. What I would rather switch it on in this way is, okay, there would be situations, okay, wherein there would be factors beyond ROI, okay, which may determine whether we have to continue our program or not. Okay. And always remember factors beyond ROI, PESTEL. Remember PESTEL, you're all good. Okay. You're simply good. PESTEL is the keyword that you remember. It's done. Okay. So while I answer that, right? So I hope you also understand this. The moment things fail in program formulation, okay, let's say in the formulation stage itself, it has been decided, no, we should not be going ahead with this program. You're directly going on to program closure. That's it. You're directly going on to program closure. You're not going to do still planning, delivery, and so on because, sorry, the program is not approved. Okay. And when you go into that ways, okay, directly from formulation to closure, you're going to do closeout. If there was anything done on financial management, which will not happen because again, right, estimations and so on, it's very initial. You're not going to have anything. Okay. So this will be a very high level program closeout. There is no benefits to transition because you haven't delivered anything. Okay. Program risk management, probably you might update some documents. That's about it. There's nothing more to transition. Communication, obviously, there's nothing in there. Resource, sorry, you didn't even have a resource. What are you going to transition? Finance, okay, you just did budgeting exercise, so it's more around information which you will kind of put through. Okay. Information archiving and transitioning, yes, this will be there. This would also include your lessons learned as to why this program failed. So remember, there will be a question, or rather, most probably there will be a question, okay, which will say that, okay, fine, you have gone into the closure phase directly from formulation. What is the first thing that you should be doing? Okay. The first thing that you should be doing in any case is communicating to the stakeholders. That was this particular program is closing now. Second thing is document lessons learned. Okay, because you have to document it, right? Why the program was chosen to close. Okay, so that is what this will be there. So most probably what you're going to see in case wherein we are directly going from formulation to closure is your closeout as well as your information archiving and transitioning. Okay, mostly archiving. Transition will be just a minor part of it. Okay, so hope that answers your question, Mehul. Mehul, I think the question was from you, right?
Yes, 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 that's correct. So I was just trying to interpret that
Hmm.
uh, while PESTEL is the framework how we'll be assessing the program, but would we say that mainly the abiding to the policy kind of changes would be the key to program formulations?
So you should not be thinking just one particular element making a decision. Okay.
Okay,
I'll tell
okay,
you this in a very simple way, right? So a program being approved or not approved will be multiple things. It might be complete strategy. So for
hmm,
example, you had a CEO, okay, who said, let's go ahead and do this program. This is the best thing for us to do. Okay.
okay,
The very next day, the CEO gets removed. Okay. A new
right,
CEO comes in. That new CEO will look at it saying that no, 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 we should not be doing this particular program. Okay. Now this is completely beyond your control, right? Now, in a way,
correct,
that's organizational politics, right? For a lack of better term.
yeah,
Okay. But that's the reason I'm saying that remember the word pestle. Pestle, I know it. primarily talks about external factors. But think about it as
Mhm.
an organization also, right? Within organization also these factors are there. Okay.
Right, right.
So think it from that perspective. So anything which involves the pestle keyword internally or externally, anything that changes may trigger the program to close
Okay,
in an
thanks.
abnormal situation. A program
Sure.
can normally close also when it has delivered everything. Okay, or
Hmm.
rather, the benefits have been delivered.
Right.
Okay,
Thanks for that.
okay, perfect. Any questions on this? I know that we touched upon formulation and planning and answered a couple of questions, but anything specific? I know I need to go deeper on these. Okay, which I will do. But anything specific on this
Hmm.
table before I go into the documents?
So I was just wondering where stakeholder management comes in, or stakeholder.
Absolutely. So what you're seeing over here is right. So how many domains do we have in PGMP? Anyone? Did I put one there? No,
Is
not yet. Okay.
I think 5.
Okay. Can you name them, please?
I think it is. Let me remember. I
Let's make it
think.
easy. Let's make it easy. Hold on. Let's make it easy. Okay. So stakeholder. Okay. Stakeholder management. Next is strategic alignment. Okay. SS. You got that? Stakeholder management, strategic alignment. Okay. Then you have collaboration. Collaboration is an overarching thing. It's there everywhere. Okay. Then you have program lifecycle. Okay. Got it? Then you have benefits. Okay. Is there anything more I'm missing? Anyone? Anything more I'm missing? Anyone?
Uh, I don't think so.
Okay, I'll give you a keyword. SSBGCL. Okay. SSBGCL. Tell me which letter I missed out here.
G for governance.
Governance. Exactly. Okay. Sorry, this is how I learn things because obviously there's a lot of theory over here, guys. Okay. So it becomes very difficult for even me to remember. Okay. And I'm not one of the fast learners. Let me openly admit that. Okay. So SSBGCL. Now I know which one I missed. I missed the governance part of it. So what you're going to see in the following sessions. Okay. And something I wanted to check with you guys as well. Now, so far we've been meeting only once a weekend, right? Do you think we need to meet twice a weekend, like Saturday and Sunday? Okay. So think about it and let me know. At least drop me a note on the WhatsApp as to if that is what will help you guys out. Okay, because one of the key things for me is to provide you as much support I can provide. Okay, and then you deciding whether the momentum and other things are helping you or not. Okay, but let's leave that aside. So we are talking about 6 domains over here. Okay, collaboration being an overarching domain. You won't have separately collaboration as a separate element anywhere. It's all embedded throughout. Okay, so all of those things, okay, in the following sessions, what I'll try to do is I'll try to bring them parallel to the program lifecycle. Okay, the reason I started with program lifecycle first is this is the first thing that you will be able to understand very clearly. Okay, when it comes down to how we have done PMP certification, if you have done, okay, this becomes most easiest to digest. The second thing over here is this is your biggest domain. If you're able to address this very clearly, okay, the rest of it becomes very easy. Okay, so that's the reason I'm suggesting that we start off with this. Okay, clear? Cool. Okay, so yes, we will be talking about all those things. So, for example, your strategic and so on. So you heard me talking about strategy today, right? All of that is going to happen in your formulation, strategy, initial strategic alignment. But then throughout the program lifecycle, you still continue to find out whether it is still continually aligned with strategy or not. So we'll talk in detail about that. Okay. Hope I was able to at least give you a hint as to how we are progressing. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Okay. So now let's talk about this particular set of documents over here. Okay. Now again, when I am listing down these documents, you're seeing that I'm listing down these into 3 key areas. I'm saying where the program documents are created. where the program documents are updated. Okay. Now, when we say business case, okay, and there are certain questions that I'm going to ask wherein we need to quickly respond so that we can embed our understanding. Okay. Do you think business case is made before program charter or after program charter?
It is before, no? Before.
Is the first document that gets created for a program. Simple as that. Okay. Now, do you think after making the business case, when you make the program charter, okay, basis updates in program charter, do you think we should be going ahead and updating business case again? I'll repeat the question. You made the business case, now you're making the program charter. Okay, you identified that there are some changes that you need to make in the charter. Okay, you're making those changes, but those changes, do you think need to go back to the business case?
Yes, we have to.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, let me also kind of continue that question. Do you think business case only gets updated in formulation or it gets updated throughout the program lifecycle? The hint is there in front of your screen, guys. I need you to kind of focus on the screen and just not my voice for now. Do you think business case is only updated or other, yeah, let's just say updated during formulation and after that it gets locked and it never gets updated?
No, no, it is actually it will
Continuous
be
iteration.
it should be updated, no?
It should be updated. Okay. Do you think the same thing happens with project management? Wherein your project business case, does it get constantly updated after initiation?
No, no, I don't think so. No, project management, I think it is more of a fixed. We have a fixed goal in this. In program, we are more of a iterative kind of work we are doing.
Absolutely. And think it from this perspective also, right? The the risk, the challenges, and other things that you have in project
Sorry to
management.
interrupt.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So if
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so then what is the difference between say in this agile and waterfall? Because we are
Very
hearing
good question. I was just hoping someone would ask me that. Yes, you are very right, Shisha. In fact, the moment I did PMP and then we started studying it, right, I started wondering as to, okay, this is sounding like those agile terms wherein we are repeatedly reiterating or iterating the business case. Okay, okay. There is a specific term that we use, progressive elaboration. Okay, or progressively we are elaborating our business case. So you're going to see those parallels coming over here also. Okay, so this is in ways, right, a sweeter link between how a program gets managed versus how an agile project gets managed, because here what you're doing is you're constantly verifying whether you're still delivering what you are intending to do, and you're capturing any new developments that might change what you're wanting to deliver. And that's where the progressive elaboration kind of comes into place, wherein you're continuously doing that. Okay. So, yes, there are parallels to it. Okay. But in PMI, we don't call it in that way. We call it progressively elaborated. And that same term got used in PMP also. Okay. So, you're right. You're absolutely right. Cool. I heard there was one more question. Anyone else had a question on this? Okay, so let's stick to business case for now, right? Okay, so what you're saying is business case is here, and any change that happens, okay, throughout the program, okay. Now I'll ask a question, right? Sorry, one thing that I forgot to ask. Do you think at the program closure phase, business case is going to get updated? Anyone? In a normal situation, do you think business case here will get updated even in program closure phase? Any guesses? This might be a question
I,
that might come to you.
ideally, it should, keeping in mind whatever you're learning and the business case is going to be used further as part of the historical database, then it will help to update it with all the learning that you have as part of your project or the program. But I am not very sure if practically we do that.
Okay, let's hold on to that thought. I had one more hand raised. Mehul, you had
Mhm.
you had raised your hand.
I
I have a question to the iterative elaboration, but I'll let you
Can you just
complete
hold
this
on to
thought
that then?
first.
Just hold
Yeah,
on to
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
So let me just answer this one first, right? So see, if the program has run correctly, okay, means everything that benefit was supposed to be delivered, then during your program closure, you're not going to update the business case because practically you have delivered the business case. Okay, there is nothing more to be done. You have delivered. Okay, you will have lessons learned and other things which you will capture anyways. Okay, but if the program is worked out correctly, then you're not going to update the program closure. However, in the case of, let's say, abrupt cancellation of the program, okay, which is leading to the closure, those are the only situations wherein you will be updating the program, you will be updating the business case in the program closure. Okay, that's the only case in program closure business case will get updated. In the normal cases, it will not. Okay, so it's simple. Business case in normal situations will be only updated in formulation, planning, and delivery. Only in the abnormal cases, it will also get updated in closure. Simple. Are we okay with that, guys? Sorry, guys. Yes or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay, perfect. So Mehul, you had a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, I think so your elaboration answers some part of it, but thought I'll just still put it across. So
Sure.
I was trying to understand this relate the business case that we're talking about would be mainly linked to the program, and program would be linked to the strategy. So any strategy of the organization would generally be lasting for 3 to 5 years, right?
Not necessarily. Not
Okay.
necessarily. Okay, let's take a simple example here, right? Let's talk about current global political situations. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
or geopolitical situations. That's the right word for it. Okay, do you think in current geopolitical situations, wherein India one time has 25% tariffs, the very next week India has 50% tariffs? Do you
Right.
think that strategy is same for 25 and for 50?
It would not be, and that is where I'm trying to understand how the program framework possibly nears to that, because uh, a program would be designed to deliver certain things similarly, kind of a project, at least not immediate but a long term benefit.
Right.
And when we relate it to that, we work in a progressive elaboration environment, then the program itself will change multifold, right? So
Yes.
how do we actually uh, justify the benefit of a program being initiated?
Okay. So think it in this way, right? Okay. So why do we make programs? We make programs to deliver benefits, right? So what
Right.
the justification for you is my program really delivering the benefit? That means the value for the organizational strategy. That's the biggest reason why we do a program. Okay. Now let's just say if there is something that happens which challenges the delivery that we are going to make. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a challenge on that and you can no longer make that delivery, then that's it. The program has to be closed. Okay. So for example, right, let's say you started a particular program, okay, at one point in time wherein there were certain subsidies that were given to you. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to take that as a benefit to kind of deliver value to the organization. And let's just say tomorrow government wakes up, okay, and stops that subsidy. Would you be able to deliver the value? Most of the cases you won't be. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
unless you found out some other opportunity to still kind of carry forward. Most of the cases it won't be. Okay, so I know that I've been talking about examples wherein things are going to fail. Okay, let's talk about things which are going to pass. So, for example, constructing a dam. That's a multi-year program, right? Which will have multiple projects
Right.
in there. Okay, the benefit will be very clearly defined that yes, we have to do it. Their return of investment is not the point, right? Then you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about more of socioeconomic situations to kind of come into play. So in those cases, yes, you will see the program happening end to end. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, the timeline will keep on shifting depending on what complexities might come in. Sometimes budgeting might be a concern as well. But once you start these things, most probably you'll complete them. Okay.
Okay.
Most probably you'll
Okay.
complete. Okay.
Thanks.
So
Thanks for that.
I know that I've taken a lot of negative examples. The reason I took negative examples is Those are the ones where you're going to get puzzled a lot during your exam. Okay. Not
Right.
necessarily that every program gets initiated for a failure. Absolutely not. Okay. That's not the
Right.
intent for it. Cool.
Thanks for that.
Okay. Perfect. So any questions on this, guys? Okay. So let me do a couple of things here, right? So let me just go ahead and talk about some of the documents today. Okay. So business case. Okay. Think about this as a very closed document. Okay, which will only be available, okay, to extremely senior members. Okay, so this is the document, not for everyone. Are we clear with that? I'm just giving you certain keywords. We will deep dive on it. Don't worry. We will definitely deep dive on it. Okay, program charter. Okay, this is a document available for everyone who's directly or indirectly linked to the program. Okay, wherein they can understand why we have this particular program, what are the benefits, what are the wider timelines, and so on. Okay, so the key distinction between business cases, a lot deeper, lot strategic, not available to everyone. Okay, to be very specific, it's only available to the program steering committee. Okay, or you call it as governance board. Okay, which is what we'll touch base in the following sessions. Program charter, much more open document, available to everyone in the world who is directly or indirectly impacted. That means whoever is a stakeholder for that particular program. Program roadmap. Okay, simple as a milestone chart. Okay, a swim lane with a milestone chart, primarily used to kind of understand at a high level how are we progressing on a particular program. As simple as that. It will call out the key milestones. It will call off all these things. Again, these documents, okay, business case, program charter, and roadmap will get updated throughout. Okay, except obviously when it comes down to closure, you're not going to see business case and charter getting updated. Program roadmap, obviously, the closing milestone and other things will get updated here. Okay, so that will what will happen over here. Okay, stakeholder register, risk register, initial. These are initial ones over here, as you can see it over here, right? Okay, risk register will come in from here. Stakeholder register will come in from stakeholder identifications. You will also have risk register. Sorry, risk register. I covered it. So stakeholder register, risk register. There would also be benefits register. Okay, which I haven't covered it over here, which I will go deeper. Okay, but just for today, right? Because with this list will keep on improving now. Okay, you're going to see a lot more registers and things coming in here. Okay, but if you have to kind of take something back today, just take back these things. Okay, that these are the key things that will happen at least during program formulation stage. Okay, there are more beyond this, which are critical for your exam, which we'll also cover. Okay, when it comes down to program planning, like we spoke over here, all the plans will get updated. Okay, we call it all subsidiary plans, and I've given you some examples here. Budget, detailed program budget. Now, I hope you all remember we spoke about whereas finance, we spoke about this one here, right? So you had initial estimation. Okay, now you're coming over here. Now you're going much more deeper over here. Okay, I'll kind of reterm this over here. It's not detailed program budget, it's initial program budget. So I'll revert that over here. Okay, that's a mistake on my side. I'll take that. Obviously, you have registers, risk issue, change register. Okay, change register also, remember if there are any changes which are leading to the change of the entire business case and so on, because you're still in the planning phase here. Okay, then realization, benefits realization plan, that's a very critical one for you to remember. Detailed program schedule. Okay, because you made a roadmap over here, now you're talking about master schedule. They call it master schedule. Okay, that's the keyword getting used. Okay, I spoke about this. I won't go into program delivery today. Now, there's one more thing that happens over here. Okay, so if you remember over here, right, when we spoke about last on this particular life cycle, we said components. Okay, you remember the word components. Okay, for your PGMP exam, mostly components is going to refer to projects. Okay, mostly it's going to refer to that. Now, during your planning phase, program planning phase, there's one critical document that gets created, which is called as project business case. Okay, which is what will help the governance body, that is the steering committee, to decide whether we should initiate this particular project or not. Okay, in this case, the project has to be primarily linked to the objectives that are there in the program. And when we say program objectives are primarily linked to the strategy of the organization. Okay. So when you're seeing through the PGMP questions, okay, there might be questions which might trouble you, saying that when does the project management plan gets made? Project management plan does not get made in the program planning subphase. It only comes in program delivery. Any guesses who makes a project management plan? Who makes a project management plan? Is it the program manager or the project manager who makes it?
Project manager.
Absolutely. So if the project manager is making it and everything about the project is in the program delivery, then why would we have anything of the project over here in program planning? We won't. Okay. So that is one thing that you need to remember. There will be trick questions. Now, when you're reading in the exam, okay, just be mindful. And I'm going to tell you this in a very simplistic way. Okay. For people who have habit of reading fast, okay, and I sometimes get into hasty reading, okay, our human brain looks into these three words and assumes what is the rest of the word. Okay. So during exam, please do not rush. Okay. Check whether it is a project or a program that is being asked upon. You might have an extremely simple question wherein they are primarily asking about project, but you answered basis program and vice versa. So just have that in your mind when you are looking through this. Okay, cool. Okay, so today I'm not gonna stretch beyond our normal time, but I'm happy to take any questions or any inputs that anyone has. Any questions, any inputs, any further details that anyone needs? Happy to kind of take that now.
So are we elaborating more on the business case in the next session?
Yes. We are going much deeper. We are going to go much deeper. In fact, let me actually do one thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm going to share my entire screen. So let me just run you through of what I have had so far. Okay, so I'm going to talk a lot more around each of these phases. Okay, I'm going to start giving you certain keywords. Okay, same across. Okay, then I'm going to talk about some tricky concepts. Okay, and then some exam tips. And I'm continuously building the next set of training materials or other knowledge sharing material as well. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of this kind of coming through. Okay.
Okay. Next, I had a doubt. When is the program sponsor and the program manager selected or comes in picture during these stages?
Perfect. So I'm going to go into much more deeper around stakeholder management. Okay. So to answer your question, okay, in simple terms, in the sequence of things, okay, first is you're going to have your program sponsor being appointed during formulation. Everything is happening during formulation. Okay. Program sponsor, then program manager. Okay. And during this phase, certain organizations might begin with having a governance board first. Certain organizations might have governance board just after the program sponsor. Okay. Now it totally depends on organization to organization. When it comes down to PGMP, okay, simple terms is you might have an overarching governance body, but your actual governance body will happen the moment your program sponsor gets appointed. Okay, the reason why that is the case in PGMP text is program sponsor is normally going to be the chief of the program steering committee or program governance board. Okay, so think it in the sequence. First is the sponsor. Second, you can say governance body. Okay. Third, you can say program manager. Okay. Now this is official appointment. Unofficially, they might be identified much earlier. So, for example, during a mock question, there was a point that was said that there is already an EPMO, enterprise wide program management office, wherein they have certain resources that will be given to the program manager to immediately start off the work. So these resources have been identified even before the program manager was appointed. Okay, so Official appointment, official authorization will happen during the formulation stage, but people might be working on it even before they got officially authorized. Okay, but think about it, these keywords around authorization and so on. Okay.
Okay, and how we can relate this to the project sponsor and project manager, because they will be coming more in the planning or delivery phase, no?
Let me answer that question by bringing back my screen. That's a very good question. Okay. And to that, right, what I want to do is I want to just bring this back on my screen. Okay. That's a very good question. Thanks for asking that. Where did my share go? Share is here. Entire screen. There you go. Okay. So let me know if my screen is visible. Is this visible to all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's take a step-by-step approach here. Okay. So anything around program level appointment, okay, will most probably happen in formulation if as author or formally authorized, okay, in formulation. Okay. Now, when it comes down to project, and let's call this entire phase over here as project for now for simplification purposes. We just spoke about one of the key things over here, right? The project business case gets made in the planning, but everything else gets made over here. Okay. Now, so where do you think the project manager is getting appointed? Is the project manager getting appointed during the business case or during program delivery? Where do you think he is getting for this example he's getting appointed during the business case or during actual program delivery?
So business case is generally prepared by the project manager. So if it's a
Pause over there. Okay, that's the reason I asked this question. Okay, for PGMP text, the project business case is prepared by the program manager, not the project manager. I know in real world, yes, the project managers would be holding the pen or would be assisting in creating the business case. But according to PGMP text, and yeah, I've seen that happen in multiple cases myself. Okay, wherein the actual owner of the business case is the project sponsor, and the project sponsor in a program life cycle is mostly your program manager. I'll repeat this again for everyone's benefit. Your business case, okay, for a project is made by the project sponsor. And as per PGMP text, and in my experience as well, okay, these business cases are authorized or owned by the program manager. Okay, so understand that key difference over here. So anything around project resources, okay, are only going to happen in the delivery phase, nothing before. Okay, hope that answers your question. Business case, project business case, who owns it? Program manager. Program business case, who owns it? Let's answer that question.
then it would be program sponsor.
Exactly. Simple as that. Program sponsor. Program business case, program sponsor. Project business case, project sponsor. Okay. Project sponsor is nothing but program manager. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Perfect. Any other questions, guys? Okay, then let's take it a wrap. Can I understand from you? If not now, okay. Can you please let me know if you would like to have like sessions twice on the weekend, once on Saturday, once on Sunday, or you're still okay to continue only once a weekend? Happy for you to let me know on WhatsApp, okay. I'll try and see what best I can do. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try and
Thank
see.
you.
Hopefully, the twice in fine timings. I think I'll leave it up to you guys. Shyam, that's a very good question, but I'll leave it up to you guys as to what timings
I
you would
think
like to prefer.
Saturday is good enough, maybe because anyway you are spending more than 1 hour on Saturday. So looking at everybody's comfortability. Also,
You don't have to
we need
decide.
to absorb.
I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys decide and let
Correct.
me know. Okay? Because everyone's
Thanks,
at a
man.
different pacing around what they would like to do, how fast or how slow or
Sure. Yeah.
they would like to do. But yes, my only humble suggestion over here is you tell me what is the pacing you would want, and basis that I'll kind of try and take care of the rest. Okay? So just let me know. Okay? Cool.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, Aman.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.